What is up, guys? It's Swammer here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be going over some basics of team building and the sort of early parts of the battle flow. So, in one of my previous videos, I got a comment asking just for some uh, basically basics on PvP, and so giving that a little bit of a try, seeing how it goes. And the first thing that you have to do for PvP is pick your team. So gonna hope to give some guidance on how to do that. If you guys want to see more things like this, please let me know down in the comment section and I will see what I can come up with. But basically, today I'm going to be going around how you should look to build your team. And this is just one of many approaches. There are different ways to build teams, but this is an approach that a lot of people use. It's more or less what I use, and it should give you at least reasonably good success. Um, so basically, when building a team, you want to have three components. So first, you've got your lead. Your lead generally has pretty good coverage against the meta, does well when even on energy, is able to apply shield pressure or heavy fast move damage, and does pretty well in neutral matchups. So in Great League, Azumarill is quite a good lead because covers a lot of the meta, does well when it's even on energy, and has some hard-hitting charge moves that can really apply shield pressure. Um, then the next Pokemon you want to bring is a cover. And the job of your cover is to beat the Pokemon that counter your lead. So Azumarill is countered by grass types and electric types. And so a cover for that might be Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn beats more or less every other grass type, except for possibly Jerem. And it resists electric type damage while dealing neutral damage back, so it generally wins those matchups as well. Um, and then it also often ends up being in a situation where it's coming in when shields are down, so it often has hard-hitting charge moves, which Ferrothorn certainly does with Power Up and Flash Cannon. So Ferrothorn performs reasonably well as a cover because it covers Azumarill's weaknesses. And then the third Pokemon you want to have is a safe switch. So generally a safe switch has at least neutral matchups against most of the counters to your lead. So again, against those grass and electric types, usually Deoxys will have at least a neutral matchup. Safe switches generally perform well with an energy advantage. So if your opponent counter swaps, you have a good chance to flip the matchup. And they have a large number of slightly favorable matchups. So they often don't wipe the floor with anybody, but they often are able to take out a wide variety of different Pokemon. So Deoxys as a safe switch does really well because it does have a large number of slightly favorable matchups, and with Azumarill on the lead, it does at least deal neutral damage and has a chance against those grass and electric types. So it performs quite well in the safe switch option. So basically, what a standard battle is going to look like is, 3, 2, 1, go. Your battle starts, and you're going to be in one of three situations. So ideally, you're going to land a favorable lead. So if you land a favorable lead, obviously you're going to stay in the fight. If your opponent switches, you're going to go to either your best counter to their switch or whatever is weak to their lead. So that's really a case-by-case call. You have to sort of make the decision as best you can within the fight, and different situations are going to require you to make a different call. I honestly, it probably doesn't make a ton of difference. Basically, what you want to do is make sure that you can maintain switch advantage. But winning the lead is, you know, it's easy. If you win the lead, you're off to a really good start. So what happens in a neutral lead? So in a neutral lead, basically you need to ask yourself, do your cover and your safe switch have a better matchup against their lead than your lead? And if the answer is yes, then really this is the worst possible matchup that you're in. Uh, is your lead against their lead, and you'd prefer it if it was either your cover or your safe switch, then you may as well just go to your safe switch, because it's either going to improve your matchup against them now, or if they switch out, then worst case scenario, you're probably going to end up in the same matchup again later. So that's generally what I would do in a neutral lead. If your cover and your safe switch don't have a better matchup, then usually I will stay in the fight, just because I don't want to risk getting the worst matchup later on. But then if your opponent switches, which they might very well if it's just a neutral matchup, then again, you go to your best counter to whatever they've switched in or whatever you have that's weak to their lead, and that's really a sort of judgment call on your part. And then the last situation, obviously, is when you get an unfavorable lead, and without fail, you want to go to your safe switch in this case. That's what the role of the safe switch is to be your option as when you do come up against that unfavorable lead. And so one mistake that I certainly see a lot of rookie battlers make is they will switch into their counter to that Pokemon. So let's say I'm leading with Azumarill and I come up against a Lantern on the lead. I don't want to switch into my Ferrothorn, even though Ferrothorn has a great matchup against Lantern, because they are going to switch out right away. So instead, I go into Deoxys, hoping that I can win switch advantage with Deoxys and then bring in my Ferrothorn against their Lantern later on, and make sure that I line up that matchup. So that's really the sort of one of the basic ways to design a team. It's a way that I certainly use a fair bit, and should give you at least a reasonable amount of success. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you want to see more types of video like this, please let me know down in the comments section, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.